What's up guys, welcome to Rhinofeed. Today I'm going to be doing a review of the Cherry MX Board 5.0. I've done a review of the Cherry MX Board 6.0 in the past. This is like the little brother to that keyboard, and it's a little bit cheaper, not by much, but is it worth it? That is the question. Included in the box, you get the keyboard itself, a wrist rest, a user manual, and then finally, looking at the build quality, we have a plastic case with an aluminum trim this time instead of fully aluminum. It's got an aluminum plate instead of a steel plate, and this makes a huge difference in the sound and feel of the keyboard. It has a non-removable braided 1.8 meter cable, also gold plated if that's important to you. It has some cable routing on the bottom of the case, left, center, and right. And then there's plenty of rubber feet along with some height adjustment feet that stop it from slipping around. This keyboard also includes an extra large palm rest, which has additional rubber feet on that as well. So you can elevate the entire keyboard and the wrist rest all at the same time. It weighs a little over 36.5 ounces, which is 1,040 grams. This is, of course, without the steel plate, about 100 grams lighter than the Cherry MX Board 6.0. The dimensions are 464 by 145.5 by 36 millimeters with just the keyboard itself. If you add the feet, that adds about half an inch or 14 millimeters. And the wrist rest is actually wider than the keyboard itself, so it brings the total width to 480.5 millimeters. This keyboard has a standard ANSI layout with 4 keys in the top right corner, and it also has LED indicators in the top right as well. I like the 4 keys in the top right. No reason not to add them, in my opinion. I think every keyboard that's full size should have this. Although my preference would be to have volume adjustment here. Instead, we have a Cherry key that swaps between gaming mode or office mode, and 3 media control buttons, reverse, play, pause, and forward. The volume control is on the function layer under F1 through F3. N-key rollover is always on, so that doesn't make a difference whether you're in gaming mode or office mode. But the gaming mode does block a few Windows commands so you don't close out your game. It blocks the Windows key, Alt F4, Alt Tab, Control Escape, and Control Alt Delete. The keycaps are upgraded over the Cherry MX Board 6.0. They are a double-shot PBT instead of a UV-coated ABS. These keycaps, while they are PBT, they feel very smooth, and they are, of course, Cherry profile. The font on the keycaps has definitely been improved. Cherry spent a lot of time with another company to develop a brand new font for this keyboard, and it's sharper, it's cleaner, a little bit more modern, and there's an entire article on it, so I definitely recommend checking it out in the description. It's actually really interesting. The key switches available are Cherry MX Blue, Brown, Red, and Black, as well as Silent Red, which I'm actually a fan of Silent Reds. They're a great switch if you want to quiet things down. The stabilizers are stock Cherry stabilizers. At this point, after trying so many different keyboards, I feel like these definitely need some lubing and clipping, because to me they do feel a little bit mushy. Vortex does a really great job with their stabilizers. They pre-lube them, they design them a little bit differently so they're not as mushy, but they still have the ease of removing a keycap like the Cherry stabilizers. The backlighting is white, which I definitely appreciate. I like that a lot better than the red backlighting. There are 10 levels of brightness. Pretty funny because the Cherry MX Board 6.0 allowed you to adjust by 1% increments, which means there was 100 levels of brightness. That, of course, was way overkill, and they brought it down to 10. Makes sense. There are only 3 modes, so you have on, breathing, and pulse. I don't know if you'll ever use pulse. It's actually quite distracting. There are 4 different speeds for it, as well as 4 different speeds for the breathing. The brightness can only be changed when it's simply on, obviously not in any of the modes, and that can be changed by using the F6 and F7 keys. Pricing availability, Cherry MX Board 6.0 has an MSRP of $220. Pretty a steep price tag to begin with. This keyboard has a MSRP of $189, probably. That's what they're saying, that's what they're estimating, but it's not officially decided yet. It's expected to be in North America later this year. It's not for sale at the moment. but it will be in Europe. If you're comparing Cherry keyboards directly between this one and the Cherry MX Board 6.0, there are positives and negatives. Yes, it is a lower price point, but there's some things about it, like the PBT keycaps, that are better than the 6.0 keyboard. However, by adding the PBT keycaps, they made the quality of the case worse by adding in more plastic, removing some of the aluminum there, and then the plate is aluminum instead of steel, which that makes a huge difference in the typing sound and feel. You are missing out on real key technology, which is fully analog and gets you better, faster response time. Personally, I don't think that makes that big of a difference, but I'm not a super competitive gamer, so I'm not the target market technically. The backlighting looks better because it is a nice clean white. They don't have any accent blue keys that kind of look a little weird. The wrist rest is huge on this keyboard. It's wider than the keyboard itself. I think a lot of people are going to like it. It has a nice smooth rubber finish, but the problem is it's not connected magnetically. Every wrist rest on any keyboard that includes one needs to be connected magnetically. There's no time for plastic clips that can break and all this stuff that makes it feel cheap. Just add a magnet. Simple as that. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this review, and as always, stay subscribed to the channel. You can check out my website for the full written review, and yeah, we'll catch you in the next video.